Kevin Durant.
Dominique Wilkins.
Kevin Durant.
Dominique Wilkins.
Here come the Hawks trying to push it up.
10 seconds. Goes to the corner of the field. And hits to tie it up.
Jackson trying to give it back to Tucker.
Dribbling into the corner.
On Hall of Fame Episode 4 of NBA Now and Then, the greatest comparisons, we juxtapose a pair of scores that redefine the forward position in their respective eras.
The human highlight film put on a show every time he stepped on the floor.
Their production prolific.
This guy can drop a 40-piece on anybody in his sleep.
Their impact on the game incredible.
Their play transcends entertainment into the realm of inspiration.
We are proud to present to you Kevin Durant and Dominique Wilkins. I'm Uriah.
I'm Maurice.
I'm Lucas.
And I'm Ben.
And we're here to talk NBA
Now and Then.
Okay, we have 3 episodes down and in the books. Wow, 2 amazing scores. And they play the same position, but the reality is, well, we're going to flesh out some of the things they have in common, and maybe we'll figure out what makes them so distinct from one another. But let's start with this comparison. Why are we comparing these guys? What stands out to you, Ben?
We're comparing them because they're the scoring. People forget Dominique Wilkins in the 80s, the amount he scored for the Atlanta Hawks. And I think it's just so long ago. People don't really remember that he was right there with MJ. He won scoring titles. It wasn't just about the dunking. So I think people think of Dominique Wilkins, they remember the dunking, kind of like a Vince Carter. But he was a lot more than that.
Maurice?
Dominique, they don't call him the human highlight film for nothing. Both of them were special. Both of them were highly entertaining. And this is going to be a really good comparison.
For me personally, I'm looking at 2 dominant scorers, but they dominated the game in such different ways. One did it with finesse shooting, the other did it with raw power.
First quarter, background.
Okay, everyone, it's now time to talk about the Slim Reaper, a.k.a. Easy Money Sniper, a.k.a. KD, a.k.a. Durantula. Didn't know about that one. Before he earned those nicknames, though, he was born Kevin Wayne Durant on September 29th, 1988, Washington, D.C. KD grew up in Capitol Heights, Maryland, being raised by a single mom along with his older brother. His mom, Wanda Durant, was just 18 when her first child was born. His mom was interviewed for a New York Times article and stated that as a baby, young Kevin Durant barely cried, didn't look for attention, and he was a very loving child. He was described as a silent sponge of empathy with an uncanny ability to connect with adults. Wayne Pratt, who was KD's biological father, was 23 when he left his family. Later down the road, KD would eventually reconnect with his dad. Basketball-wise, KD played high school at the powerhouse program Oak Hill Academy before transferring between his junior and senior year. Anybody want to guess how tall KD was when he was a high school freshman?
6'6".
6'1".
6'3".
Oh, you are wrong. But Maurice, you were close. I guess, Ben, you were too. KD was 6'2" when he was a freshman.
I said 6'1".
Well, someone said 6'1", but you didn't get 6'2". That was the right answer, Lucas. So you're off by an inch. Anybody want to guess how many inches he grew over the next year? He had a big growth spurt.
I'm going to say 7 inches.
6 or 7.
8.
You just love that too much.
I love that. He had a growth spurt of 5 inches, guys. Come on, guys. You should know this. You should have been doing your research. Anyway.
This isn't my segment.
No, it's all right. That's true. In his final year of high school, KD attended Montrose Christian High School in Maryland, where he was named First Team All-America by USA Today and Parade Magazine. That season, he averaged 24 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and a little over 2.5 blocks. So anything stand out to you, Lucas, about KD in his pre-college years?
I will say there's something that you didn't mention is in high school, his best friend and teammate was Michael Beasley. And that connection stayed in the NBA as well. But you don't usually see kids back then at that time hopping high schools. You see it now, but that was not a normal thing for high school kids to do. If they did it, they did it once. I think it was 3 times if I saw it correct on NBA reference. So,
Maurice?
Well, the growth spurt for me. We hear that a lot with great basketball players like Scottie Pippen or Anthony Davis. He spurted up 6-7 inches in middle school to high school. Once you do that, you have guard skills, but when you get that tall, your attributes and what you can do on the court change and makes you a lot more versatile.
Yeah, the growth spurt. And he's from the DMV area, which is really famous, has become quite the hub of NBA players. Carmelo Anthony and
Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, a lot of guys, but have come out. But I would say the growth spurt, and yeah, he clearly has guard skills. He plays like a guard. He plays just kind of on the perimeter, but he uses his size in an interesting way. He really uses his height to shoot over people. So he still plays like a guard, but instead of kind of powering, he just shoots over. He does a very specific thing.
So KD moved on from high school and he attended the University of Texas. In his 1 year as a Longhorn, here are his averages. He averaged 25.8 points, 11.1 rebounds, 1.3 assists, almost 2 steals, and almost 2 blocks. And that was just 1 year. All right, let's do a quick over-under. 3-point percentage in his only year at Texas. Lucas, over, under 41%.
Under.
I'll go under as well.
Over.
All right. Ben, you were incorrect. Lucas and Maurice, it was under 41%. He shot 40.6%, which is still pretty decent.
That's really
still
good.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like 35, to be honest.
Yeah. All right. So here are some of his best college games, guys. Check this out. In Texas, he had a game where he scored 37 points and had 16 rebounds. That was against Colorado. Another game, 37 points, 12 rebounds, Oklahoma State. He beat Texas Tech. He had 37 points, 23 rebounds. And against Kansas, not too bad of a team, 37 and 10. So that tells you how crazy good Durant was, even as a college freshman. Some college awards: 2007 Big 12 scoring champion, 2007 Big 12 player of the year, 2007 consensus first team All-American, 2007 consensus national player of the year. And check this out: first freshman in NCAA history to win any of the major national player of the year awards. So Durant led his team to the NCAA tournament. He won in the first round before losing to USC in the second round. Then he submitted his name to the NBA draft, where he was selected second overall by the Seattle Supersonics.
With the second pick in the 2007 NBA draft, the Seattle Supersonics select Kevin Durant from the University of Texas.
And again, we spend so much of this night talking about the players and how they're going to fit on their roster and cap numbers and all that stuff. It is also about personal and family and the realization of a dream. This young man from Sweetland, Maryland, who is still age 18, went to Texas for 1 year, was the consensus National Player of the Year. No freshman ever has been the consensus National Player of the Year. Swept all 7 Player of the Year awards.
All right, so let's go to Maurice first. Thinking about all the accolades and some of the things you heard about KD's college career or his background, what stands out to you, Maurice?
Well, 2 things. One, I truly believe Kevin Durant could have came out of high school. That's how good he was. 2, I think we've seen it over the years, more recent years, especially when he won his MVP. He's a really down-to-earth person, really family-rooted person. Yeah. You know how close he is to his mother, and that's something I can respect as well.
What about you, Ben?
18, yeah, that's young. I watched him in college. I was really into college basketball. That was when I was in college. So I remember that he was really dominant in a big conference, in a competitive conference. I know it was all the Greg Oden, Ohio State hype, but I'm like, this guy should be go number one. That's kind of what stands out. Like if you watched, I think Greg Oden had so much hype out of high school, and he was big. And I just remember this guy's so much better. Like, what are we not seeing? So,
a couple of interesting facts here before I go to Kevin Durant. Just side note, I went to college with Greg Oden's backup center from high school.
Cool.
He was like 6'8". He was a big guy. But going back to Durant, I don't know if you guys remember this, but he couldn't even bench press at the combine.
Really? I didn't remember that.
Well, one of his nicknames is Slim Reaper.
Yeah. I don't know if it was like he could only do one rep or but he could not get the bare minimum of what they were asking him to do with the bench press.
If you're a baller, you're a baller.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. But look, do I wish that he could have stayed in Seattle the whole time? Sure. They made him being on the team when they moved to OKC was the right move for the franchise because they had a established superstar. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like you said, Maurice, Slim Reaper for a reason. A lot of people doubted him just because of his frame. But then you always had Reggie Miller as that reference point to say, okay, if Reggie Miller is skin and bones but can dominate offensively, I think Durant had that benefit of the doubt. And unfortunately, guys, Greg Oden was the Sam Bowie of his draft.
Oh, yeah.
And
unfortunately.
Kevin Durant was the Michael Jordan in the same comparison.
We could never know exactly how good Greg Oden ever was because he wasn't really healthy. When he was healthy when he was younger, he was still pretty raw.
That is true. Okay, let's talk about the human highlight film, a.k.a. Nikazoid. I don't know if you guys heard that one. Yeah. Maurice.
Never heard that one.
A.k.a. Neek. Before he got those nicknames, he was born Jacques Dominique Wilkins in Paris, France, January 12th, 1960. Dominique's father was stationed there while serving in the Air Force. His family bounced around a lot because of his dad's military career. He lived in Dallas, he lived in Baltimore, and he ended up in North Carolina. So his brother, Gerald, was also an NBA player, having played most notably with the Knicks and the Cavs. True or false, guys? Dominique played with his brother, Gerald, before retiring.
I don't know. I got a 50-50 chance. I'm going to say false.
Maurice?
It's true. I mean, I do the teammates, so I know this one.
Oh,
true. It's true.
That's not fair. You should have asked Maurice last. That's not fair.
Sure. So, yeah, they played together in Orlando in the 1998-99 season, which, Maurice, I don't even remember that, to be honest with you. But I'm sure we'll touch on that later.
Jared Wilkins had a nice little career, too.
He did. Dominique attended high school in Washington, North Carolina. He was the back-to-back MVP for the team's consecutive 3A state championships in 1978 and 1979. Peep this. His team in high school, they went 76-2.
Wow.
In the 4 years that Dominique played in high school, they only lost twice.
Wow.
So let's reflect, guys. Think about Dominique's upbringing, where he was born, all that good stuff, and obviously high school. Lucas, what stands out to you about what you just heard?
That not only but he has a basketball family. Talk about a basketball legacy. He has 4 people that have played in 3 other people besides himself that has played in the NBA. You got Gerald Wilkins, you got Damian Wilkins, and his stepson Isaiah Wilkins. Now I don't know much about Isaiah, but I know about Damian.
Yeah,
Damian was in the league. Man, Damian was one of those role players that just you could not get rid of.
Yeah.
It's interesting when people move around a lot. He landed in North Carolina, and that 76-2 record is really impressive. Yeah, the amount of players that came in the NBA, I can only imagine just what their practices were like. Clearly, his parents had something to do with that. But Yeah, I don't know much about North Carolina basketball. I know there's that famous town like Jerry Stackhouse and like Brandon Ingram. So I wonder if it was actually anywhere near there. Yeah, a lot of good players have come out of North Carolina. I think Bam Adebayo is the most recent.
Maurice?
Yeah, high work ethic. I mean, we saw that in Atlanta. You saw it pretty much everywhere. The guy worked really hard. As we go on into his NBA career, the intensity that he played with, you knew that he learned that early on. Did you mention he was born in France?
Yeah, he was born in Paris.
I didn't even know that. That's a little nugget that I didn't even know.
Yeah, interesting. So speaking of North Carolina, so Dominique, when he was graduating high school, he shocked everyone when he enrolled at the University of Georgia, 1979. He had a stellar career at Georgia, and he was named SEC Men's Basketball Player of the Year in 1981. His stats in Georgia are as follows. So for the 3 years he played at Georgia, guys, he averaged 35 minutes a game, 21.6 points, about 7.5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. So Dominique, even in the college days, was a lethal scorer. He left the Bulldogs program after his junior year. Dominique was selected 3rd overall behind James Worthy and Terry Cummings. He was selected by the Utah Jazz in the 1982 draft. So let's check out his draft night. Actually, no, this is a clip. I think it was when he got drafted, or he's interviewed about being drafted. So check it out.
I wanted to stay in Atlanta, living in Atlanta, going to school down the road in Athens. I wanted to play for the Hawks. I had no idea I was going to be playing with them all the years I played. But it took a couple of elements to make that happen. First of all, I used to travel around with Magic Johnson, and we used to take all the top guys in the NBA. We play summer ball all over the country. So I think that got the ball rolling, just playing with Magic. And so I never went to Utah, never visited. So I was traded not too long after that.
Right. You got traded for John Drew, Freeman Williams, and $1 million in cash, which is considered one of the most lopsided deals in NBA history.
Probably was.
At this point.
It probably was.
Right, because Drew and Williams played a combined 4 seasons for the Jazz.
You look at that, you say, wow, if we'd have stayed there, what would have happened? Because you get Karl Malone, John Stockton, could have been a pretty serious team. But if I had to go back and do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing.
Interesting nugget there, right, Lucas? So what stands out to you about his college career and obviously the trade that happened that ended up having him go to Atlanta instead of Utah? Lucas?
The trade. I mean, look, you don't hear about, I don't know who those other 2 guys are, which is a problem. I would say so. They don't register on my basketball, historical relevance. Maybe John Drew once, but the point is that you traded the 3rd overall pick for 2 essentially no names for the 3rd overall pick plus $1 million, which $1 million back in the 80s actually was really significant. So
yeah,
that was a big deal, but to lose out on a guy like Wilkins, I mean, good grief, this guy was in his prime for about 11 years. I mean, he not in his prime, but was dominant for about 11 years. So for me, that's the mind-blowing part.
Ben, what about you?
I had to look it up. I was introduced to Dominique Wilkins on the NBA Superstars VHS. You guys remember that as a kid?
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
And him and obviously we knew Jordan, we knew Barkley, but he stood out like, who is this guy? The most. And the reason why we probably don't know of him is because of what he said is his teammates probably weren't strong enough to contend. And to me, what stands out the most, Uriah, is that the Lakers didn't pick him. Because I'll be honest with you, that team probably would have won more chips if they had Dominique instead of James Worthy. And James Worthy is incredible.
I was going to say, James Worthy was pretty darn good.
That's a hot take there, Ben.
No, Dominique in the 80s was a much superior player.
I mean, they won 5 championships with that core.
But they also had
Kareem,
Magic, Cooper.
No, they won 4
Scott.
Well, there was a lot of lopsided trades back in those days.
Yeah, that's true.
They were throwing around first round picks for just cash and backup players. For me, I think in that clip he mentioned that he was traveling with Magic Johnson. I mean, that's got to be some stories there by itself.
Oh yeah,
early '80s Magic Johnson with a rookie Dominique Wilkins. That's crazy too.
Yeah, you mentioned James Worthy, who was actually, believe it or not, he was a state rival. He was also in North Carolina.
Yes, he was.
And I remember reading an interview where James Worthy kept hearing about Dominique, but yet they never squared off in the same game, which was interesting. So they were both arguably the best players in North Carolina at the time. And it's interesting how he just flat out rejected not wanting to play in Utah. Don't know why. I'm sure there's reasons, but it's a huge what if. Imagine if the Lakers chose him over Worthy. I think alley-oops from Magic on the break to Dominique would have taken Showtime to another level.
What years
were
question. What years were Stockton and Malone drafted in?
84 was Stockton, and Malone is, I think, the year after.
Yeah, 85.
So imagine if he was with those two.
So my last take about basketball, it reminds me of the Charlotte-LA trade, Kobe for Divac.
Yeah.
Because we all know how that turned out. All right.
I'm just saying, if you could imagine Dominique with John Stockton and Karl Malone.
Yeah. Well, he said it himself in the interview.
Here's my issue with that. Their record would have been better. The actual real life thing that could have
Dominique been good enough back then?
Yeah, he was good right away. He was good.
I know that he was good, but so was Kevin Durant, and they didn't get winning right away.
But Lucas, my point is the actual legitimate thing that could have happened is him going to the Lakers or whoever picked second. Like that is a realistic thing that could happen because I don't think he would have. I don't think their draft picks would have been high in 84, 85.
Who drafted Terry Cummings?
I want to say San Diego. It wasn't Milwaukee. I want to say San Diego. Either San Diego or Milwaukee. But anyway, let's move on.
Second quarter. Statistics.
Long range. Durant's got 11. Craig goes down. Durant has got a highlight. KD had the foul again.
Ankle breaker. Oh. Kevin Durant is one bad man. That was cold. The bench can't believe it.
This not falling to Tatum. 1 for 9 for 3. Durant down the other end. Layup is good. And the foul. Kevin Durant. Chance for a three-point play.
End of the third, into the fourth. And this is what you can't afford him. An opportunity in transition. The Brooklyn Nets are 7th in the league in pace.
Durant. Spinning. 4 to shoot. Lost it. 3 to shoot. Durant on the attack, banks it in! Nothing is too tough.
This was filthy. I mean, Green is pushing him, trying to body up into him, doing everything he can to make it tough, and then, sweet kiss off the glass.
How good Aldridge looks early on here this season after retiring in the middle of last season. Durant over 2. That's no matter for Kevin Durant.
And on that note, we're going to talk about Kevin Durant. That was just some highlights that we got there. Here's some numbers. So he's listed at 6'10", but I think anybody that watches the NBA know that he's really 7 foot, but he listed himself as 6'10". It's one of those things that if you list yourself at a certain height, people expect you to play a certain position. And I think that's where KD decided that he's going to be listed at 6'10". He also weighs 240 pounds, which is heavier than I expected, to be honest. He's worn 35 at every stop except one. Who can tell me which place he did not wear 35 at?
Brooklyn.
What was the number?
Was he 21?
Nope.
7.
7 in Brooklyn. Yep.
I don't know.
Every other stop he's been 35. So let's look at the stats here. So here's an over-under. Here's a little nugget for you guys to chew on. Over-under 1.5 seasons of 50, 40, 90.
Over.
I'm going to say over.
You are all correct. He's had 2 50, 40, 90 seasons. The first one came the year before his MVP season, where he in the 2012-2013 season, and this past season he shot 50-40-90. Most of the reasons why he hasn't hit 50-40-90 is because of his free throw percentage, actually. He shot above 50% in every season since the 2012-2013 season. Over 50% from the field. His best season is his MVP season, clearly. He scored 32 points per game, had 7.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 3.5 turnovers, while shooting 50% from the field, 39% from the three-point line, and 87% from the foul line. His career highs include 55 points back in this past season, the 2021-2022 season with the Nets. He's grabbed 18 rebounds in a game. He's also had 16 assists, 5 steals, 7 blocks, 11 turnovers. So just some interesting stats here. I think the playmaking, as Kevin Durant has gotten older, has been the most impressive thing in his game. Because there's been at least one season where he's averaged over 6 assists a game.
Okay.
At essentially 7 foot. And this is coming back from a torn Achilles in the 2019-2020 season. So what are your guys' thoughts? Oh, outside of his rookie year, by the way, he scored at least 25 points per game.
Well, 16 assists is his career high. That's right? That's correct?
I believe that is what I said.
Yeah,
I can
said
check
that.
That's surprising to me because I never really thought of him as a facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, he has a skill set for it. And when we think of Kevin Durant, we think of like this mid-range killer. Like in the mid-range, he's lethal, pretty much automatic. He can get a good dribble pull-up. But I do have a nugget for Lucas and the rest of you guys.
Okay.
Did you know Kevin Durant was the youngest player in NBA history to win a scoring title?
I did not, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
That's a good
I
nugget.
believe that was his, let me double check here.
07-08. No. That was his rookie year.
It was his third season when he averaged 30 points per game in the 09-10 season.
Yeah.
He averaged 30 points per game in his third season, guys. He's averaged 30 points twice in his career. Like I said, outside of his rookie year, he's averaged at least 25 points per game.
That's crazy because he's just turned 35. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Last season, he averaged 29 on 50-40-90.
I am always impressed by anything that man does on the basketball court, and his background and learning what he went through makes it even more impressive. So I think the stat, and I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm just surprised that his high was 55.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that over the tenure of his career, over a decade plus some, he would have scored at least 60 once.
Well, my thought about this is that Kevin Durant has never been the type of guy to hunt for points. He plays the game right. That's why he chose Golden State, right? Because he doesn't force the game. He lets it come naturally. Have we ever seen Kevin Durant it's happened very rarely where he's forced it in a game.
Right.
No.
Well, yeah, but to the point of Maurice about being a distributor, I think he's underrated. If he needed to, he could do it more. But if you look at some of his highlights, oh my goodness, he is such a crafty ball handler. His handles are crazy to be as tall as he is, the way he crosses guys over left and right to left. So the stats speak for themselves, and he will go down as one of the greatest scorers in the history of the game.
I just want to chime in real quick and just mention that as of this recording, Kevin Durant is 13th all-time in NBA scoring list. He can get into the top 10 this season. And number 15th is Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead, Ben.
All right.
I was going to say the 55 is surprising, but not really if you see his teammates.
Yeah,
By his second season, he had Russell Westbrook. Third season, James Harden. And then he went to the super team of the Warriors and then the super team of the the Nets, and now he's on another super team. So he probably will never get more than 55 because he just has so many elite weapons offensively on his team. He just has his entire career. So it's surprising, but not. Had he been on kind of what you saw with James Harden in Houston, or when Shaq left Kobe, he probably would have had like a 37, 38 point average if he was on he was just the guy back in the day. Yeah. So you see that just the 50, 40, 90 with his shot selection is just unbelievable. Like these are contested, like difficult, even if you were like a 6'1" guard, like they're
very
difficult
few
shots.
people have blocked his shot.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's almost unguardable. And yeah, he's just a really special player.
Offensive boards. Porter for three. No. Rebound, Dominique Wilkins. Hawks on the run. Back to Dominique. Up off
that jump balls are not very successful. The ball's not tossed up high enough. Dominique open, hits it again.
And that's a good job by Dominique. The Hawks ran off after he saw the miss and got an easy layup.
And of course, you can take off if you think your team's going to get the rebound. Dominique in the lane for the jumper. It's good. Tough shot by Dominique.
That shows the confidence that these that the Celtics
back outside for Willis. On the left wing, Eddie Johnson has Dominique Lowe for the turnaround jumper. Bullseye. Dominique has 8 in the game. He and Bird have had great games against each other. Set for the Hawks. Off the pick comes Whitman. Whitman, no shot there. Back outside for Dominique. The 20-footer. Bullseye. Dominique. Dominique has 11. He's off. Getting that shot. It's in the well.
That's right.
Bird has 25. Dominique on the drive. Pulls up with a short jumper and drills it.
So those are some highlights of Dominique. Here's some numbers for you guys. So he was 6'8". Now, I'm going to ask you guys over under 220 pounds for Dominique.
Way over.
I'm going to say under.
Say under.
Uriah and Maurice, you are correct. He was only 215 pounds.
Now, that's early in his career, correct?
No, this is just what it says on Basketball Reference. So, I don't know about later years, but this is the weight that they went with here.
He was always slim. So was he the same weight as KD? I don't remember what you said.
Actually, KD's heavier.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, KD's taller by what, 3 inches? At least 3 inches.
Officially 2, but probably more like 4.
Okay.
That being said, here he wore outside. There was like KD. There was only one team where he did not wear 21. What was the one team he did not wear 21 at? He did play for the Hawks,
Boston,
Magic. And San Antonio, and the Clippers.
Oh, that's right. He did bounce around.
Did he wear 21 in Greece?
I don't
think you have that information.
No, I don't have that information.
I want to say Boston. He didn't wear 21.
Ben?
Orlando.
Uriah is the only one correct.
What?
Guys, think about it. Boston's retired how many? You don't get to do it just for yourself. Stop it. No, but guys, think about it. Boston has the most retired numbers out of anybody, right? Mm-hmm. So most likely it was Boston. All right. That being said, wait a second, what year was Duncan drafted? Was it 98?
They weren't there the same year.
Okay.
87.
I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
He actually, Dominique was there. We'll save that for Maurice.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to go with the year that Dominique led the league in scoring. Wasn't his career high, ironically enough, by percentage points 2 years after the season. But he led the league in scoring during his 4th season. He averaged 30 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and about a half block, while shooting 47% from the field, 19% from the three-point line, and 81% from the foul line. His career highs include 57 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists, 7 steals, 8 turnovers, and 6 blocks. Some other interesting stats. He scored 30 points per season twice. He was in his prime for essentially his whole entire career with the Hawks, got traded mid-season to the Clippers. Then he bounced around. He played Boston in a year, played in Greece for another year, came back to the Spurs, and then went to Italy, and then came back to Orlando. He also, outside of that, there was one season where he averaged 26 and 9. That was just the 90-91 season. Let me start with Maurice. Maurice, what were some interesting things that you took away from that?
Well, the first thing that was interesting was he led the league in scoring. Now, this is in the mid-'80s.
Mm-hmm.
It was 85-86.
86, yep, 85-86.
Now, this was the year Jordan got injured.
Yeah.
So he missed the majority of the season. And Dominique averaged 30. This is Lakers, Celtics, mid-run 80s right here.
Yeah.
So that was surprising because I didn't know that. He really came out guns blazing early on in his career.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, his rookie year, he averaged 17 and a half, and then 21 his second year, then 27 by his third year.
Yeah, that's a big jump. Like his nickname says, a human highlight reel. We always talk about Michael Jordan in those days, but Dominique was an exciting player to watch. He could score, he could fill it up, and he could dunk on somebody.
I was about to say, slam dunk competition between him and Jordan.
Yeah, he had a run there from about 85 to 90, where he was pretty much in all those dunk contests.
Now, what about you, Ben?
Kind of how he scored and power. It was different from how Jordan did. And then you kind of saw his dunks are really, really, really impressive. And yeah, he's almost forgotten about. I guess I can go into it now. Something that we haven't really talked about is both these guys had the same injury. And I think modern medicine, they both had Achilles injuries. Dominique's unfortunately happened in the early 90s. Medicine is not what it was, whereas Kevin Durant's happened in the 2019 finals. And so just kind of an example how much sports medicine has changed.
Well, let me
KD bound. Anyway, that I just wanted to mention that. But
let me just ask you, because I can't tell, except if it happened between his last season in Atlanta / Clippers in Boston. I don't know what season that happened. What season?
I think it was against the Sixers too.
Yes, it was.
It was against Charles Barkley, early 90s.
So
like,
it was
91, 92.
Stats. Yeah, I was going to say, because he only played 41.
It happened in a Sixers game.
He came back and averaged 29 and 26 for the next two seasons.
Yeah, but his game was so dependent on power,
explosive,
and, like explosiveness. And he just played big, and that injury, I think, because he wasn't with KD. The reason why also KD is almost a shooting guard, an elite level shooting guard, 3-point shooter. And I think that might be why, but it also just, it's the same injury. It's really interesting, both guys.
Well, let me ask you guys a quick question here, because I didn't see much of it. Was Dominique considered an elite defender?
No.
KD, what is?
Dominique's a good help defender because of his hops. He was.
Okay. The other thing that I wanted to ask here with Dom, because like I said, I didn't get to see him play. I only saw highlights. Is that it seemed like his jump shot, his feet went everywhere. He didn't have a set shot. Like his form, especially his lower body of his form, did not seem smooth. Is that fair to say?
Well, I'll answer that because I remember watching I remember watching Dominique in the 80s go toe-to-toe with Larry Bird. Some of the best competitions on the basketball court in terms of individual player rivalries. It wasn't necessarily Jordan and Dominique. It was Larry Bird and Dominique Wilkins. His shooting form is very unique. He would spring off the ground and elevate to a point where the apex of his jump shot.
It was like almost like a fade shot, right?
No, I wouldn't. I would say the opposite. I would say it was more of he would kind of kick, and then like he would be so high, so his release point was really high. So when you see him post up against guys like Bird, who are the same height, he would just jump to the point where they, like KD, they couldn't block it. So he was an extraordinary athlete. He was the ultimate finisher, an electrifying scorer. And at the end of the day, his agility. A lot of people, I picked a highlight reel, Lucas, that didn't focus on his dunks because he was such a great mid-range scorer. If Dominique played in this era, and the emphasis is shooting 3-pointers, he could have shot 35, 40%.
Well, I mean, he shot it a few times. He shot 34.
Well, you said he shot 19% from 3.
That was his best season.
Right.
If we're going with 3-point seasons, he shot above 30%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons out of his 15-year career.
So he wasn't that great of a 3-point shooter,
no,
but
he was not.
He was a great scorer. I think that was a good grab with the Achilles, both those players that we're talking about.
Know that, so yeah.
That's an interesting point.
It's interesting. His career is similar to, I know we're not comparing these players, but similar to Vince Carter. When Vince Carter kind of lost his athletic ability, exactly what you were saying, you're right. Vince used to shoot over people. And yeah, it's interesting. He just couldn't recover, where KD is so skilled that I think he recovered well.
Third quarter, accolades.
Please welcome the 2013-14 Kia NBA Most Valuable Player, Kevin Durant.
Wow. Thank you guys so much. I'm usually good at talking, but I'm a little nervous today. First off, I'd like to thank God for changing my life and let me really realize what life is all about. Basketball is just a platform in order for me to inspire people, and I realized that. I come from a small county outside of Washington, D.C. called PG County. And me, my mom, my brother, we moved so many different places growing up. And it felt like a box. It felt like there was no getting out. My dream was to become a rec league coach. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to stay home and help the kids out and be a coach. I love basketball so much. I love playing it. I just never thought that I could make it to college, NBA, or stand up here today in front of you guys and be an NBA MVP. It's just a surreal feeling.
That is Kevin Durant. Really good grab. That's from his MVP 2014. Yeah, KD is really good with his words. He's even better on Twitter. All right. I love how vocal he is on Twitter. He's even coming into like Twitter spaces and I like how involved he is with fans. All right, so I don't even know where to start with these accolades. I'm going to run down a few and then see. There's just a lot. This guy is arguably one of the top 15. Some might even say 10 best players of all time. So he has quite the list. Okay, so he is a 2-time NBA champion with that Golden State Warriors team, 2017, 2018. He also made the finals with the Thunder in 2012, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they lost to the Heat. He is a 2-time NBA Finals MVP those same years, 2017, 2018, which is, he beat out like Steph Curry. Guys, how many MVPs does he have? I'll start with that. All right. One. Okay. Kind of surprising, but he did play in the same league as LeBron. What year was that?
2013-14 season.
Oh, this is insane. He is a 13-time NBA All-Star from 10 years straight, from 2010 to 2019. He didn't get it in 2020. That was his year he was recovering from his Achilles. And then he's been 3 times in a row in 2021 to 2023. Has he ever won an NBA All-Star Game MVP?
Ooh.
I'll say no.
I'm going to say no as well.
Lucas?
I want to say yes and be different.
He has won 2.
Yeah, there we go.
In 2012 and 2019, he won.
Good guess.
It is kind of weird.
I felt like he got at least one.
It is interesting because like he's such a humble player that like an all-star game, you don't really think of him kind of showing up for that.
Yeah,
this was pretty impressive. This one, how many all NBA first teams do you guys think he has? I'll start with you, Lucas.
How many all NBA first
team?
Let's think. Who else is at the forward position? LeBron James, him. Giannis.
I think just because like it's him and LeBron's career, it's just like right there in the forwards. He's played with
Kawhi, Paul George. I'm going to give Carmelo, but no, Carmelo's not going to take it from him. He's a better version of Carmelo. I'm going to say he has at least 6 first-team All-NBAs.
Okay. You're right.
Say 5.
Maurice?
First all-team NBA. I'm going to go over. I'm going to say at least 8.
Lucas, you are the winner.
Yes!
He is 6.
There we go.
There you go. I was waiting for that.
Yes.
What I found impressive in the era...
Hold up. You took long enough. I was like looking at my watch like, man, is it dark out yet?
All right, so he has 10 All-NBA first or second teams, which I thought was really impressive because he has no All-NBA third team. And just the fact that he is 10 in this era of forwards that are just kind of dominating the league, especially in the LeBron era, that means there's only one spot. And then we know Giannis is kind of like taking the reins the last 8 years. So I thought that was really impressive that he's getting first or second. Kawhi, I just thought that was really impressive when there's only 2 forward spots. He's got 10. He was the 2008 NBA Rookie of the Year with the 1 year he played with the Seattle Supersonics. In that same year, All-NBA Rookie First Team. He won the Rookie Challenge MVP. Lucas already mentioned that he is a 2-time winner of the 50-40-90 Club, which is very, very rare. I don't know the list, but he's only one of a couple that's ever done that. I know Steve Nash.
Is he the only one that's done it twice?
No, Steve Nash, I believe, has. Okay. And I think Kyrie might even have.
Yeah, Kyrie. That's right. We did Kyrie.
Yeah,
he did.
And then, I don't know if we've mentioned this, but how many scoring titles does he have?
Oh, he has like 4? I'm looking at his page.
I'm going to say 3.
Okay, you're right.
I'll say 4.
4, and I believe that is a very short list as well.
You're right. Push the button.
You're right.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
So that, as well as the 2-time 50-40-90 Club, are extremely rare. I don't know how many 4-time NBA scoring champions there are. Wilt Chamberlain. I don't even think Michael Jordan. Like, he's on a very, very, very short list. And he is on the NBA 75th anniversary team. I mean, it's just unbelievable, this guy's resume. And he's not slowing down. As we said, he just turned 35. It's just unbelievable. What do you guys think about these awards?
Well, I'll say this. He's never led the league in scoring while making 50-40-90.
Yeah.
He's never done that. But if he did, then we got to talk Mount Rushmore here.
Yeah, he's pretty close.
Wow, like you said, it's so hard to pinpoint one particular accolade because he has so many. I think the scoring title, I think that's a big deal just because of all the great scorers that have been in the league since he's played, whether you're talking about Carmelo, whether you're talking about LeBron. But I think Kevin Durant, when you think about his skill set, we know he's a lethal scorer, but I think how many different ways that he can do it is so impressive, whether it's mid-range, pull-up 3, driving to the basket. I think his scoring titles are impressive. The MVP, or at least the championship, it's debatable. I think it's a lightning rod for controversy because he decided to team up literally with the team that he could not beat. I know Stephen A. Smith bangs that drum until the sticks break apart, right? But I think that could be a slight stain on his legacy, simply because Jordan never joined Boston. He didn't join Detroit. He didn't go to the Lakers. Jordan was like, I want to beat the best. I don't want to join the best. Mm-hmm. So I think that could be a stain on his legacy. But overall, he's a phenomenal player, unstoppable offensive player. and it shows with all the awards that he's earned.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's interesting. After the Achilles injury that we mentioned earlier, he was All-NBA second team. And then arguably one of his best playoff series after the Achilles injury was the infamous Game 7 toe, where they lost in OT to the Bucks. So, but he was unstoppable that series. All right, Lucas, what stands out?
He's never tried to be league. Like, he's not a shot hunter. Before Kevin Durant hit his prime, I told myself, okay, Carmelo Anthony's the best pure scorer. I can't say that anymore. Not even close. It's not even close. And I was looking, I did a little research behind your back because I got curious after the last episode that we recorded. In terms of like team accolades, where does Kevin Durant stand? You know, with the Thunder, he doesn't own the team's all-time points record that goes to Russell Westbrook, but does own it in three-point shots and other things. But the thing that we got to remember here with his legacy with where he stands in the record books with the Thunder, it's all going to change in a few years. You know why? Because they're predicting NBA expansion to Seattle's probably going to come back. That means Seattle's going to get all their old history back with them. So the Thunder's just going to have their information. I suspect. I could be wrong here.
So wait, all of his stats are going to go back to Seattle? Is that what you're saying?
No. All of his rookie year stats would go back to Seattle, but everything else would stay in OKC. That's what I'm predicting how they would use the record books.
All right.
At least that's what they did with the Hornets last time, right?
Charlotte and New Orleans Hornets. Yes, that's an interesting point. I've never think of that.
So how that hammers out could be a lot different too. But I find it interesting that KD, in my belief, KD is the best pure scorer in NBA history. Just pure scorer, can get a shot off anywhere.
Amen to that.
I agree. And when you're that well respected around the league to be a pure scorer, and an example that I give is when not the past Olympics, but the Olympics before that, I think it was 2016. No.
Yeah, 2016.
It was 2016 where Kevin Durant carried that Olympic team.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty much the only one that was keeping them in the gold medal. Mm-hmm. Am I right, Lucas?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had Devin Booker on that team. And Kevin Durant was the man, and they depended on him.
Devin Booker wasn't on that team.
Was it the 2021 I'm thinking of?
Was he on the 2021? I don't think so. I think
he was.
Okay.
Played,
so then it was 2021.
Yes. Okay. Pardon me. The 2021 Olympic team, when they relied on Kevin Durant to do all the scoring, he was the man on that team, and without him, they wouldn't even come close to a gold medal. So he was respected enough to be the primary scorer on the Olympic team, where you have 12 NBA players, and you're the one they depend on to score. That's all. That's everything that needs to tell me right there that he was pretty much the quintessential scorer of the last generation of the NBA.
Maurice, you are right. It's the 2021, and he did kind of like, as the elder statesman, kind of take over. And yeah, I think KD could, because the way his game has aged and the efficiency he still has, and he can just shoot over people, he could become the all-time NBA scorer. If if he plays into his 40s,
how many more years does he have?
I don't know.
I don't think health will allow him to play that long.
Okay, I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Look, he's missed so much time with injuries in the past that maybe if he was healthy this whole entire time, then he might have a shot to pass LeBron. But I don't. Wow, that's weird to say instead of Kareem, right?
Yeah.
But I just don't think he has the health to do it.
I just mean like his game could age into his 40s. Yeah.
First, I would like to say thank you to Doc. I mean, I grew up wanting to be like Dr. J, and he's like a big brother to me in a lot of ways. And I was saying to him earlier when I was a kid how I used to take this wig and run around the court with number 6 on, trying to dunk. My wig never stayed on, but it looked good going up. And there would never be another player like Dr. J. He was the guy that pushed me more than he knew. I wanted to be that guy to stand beside number 6 one day and say, you know, I actually played against that guy. And it's funny how life comes full circle. Here's a guy you wanted to emulate your whole life, and now he's introduced you to the Hall of Fame. It's an incredible feeling. And I'd like to say thanks, Doc. One and only, Dr. J.
Okay, guys. Another player with a very long list of accolades. So I'll list off a few. 9-time NBA All-Star, 9 times straight, from 1986 to 1994. So he did actually, Lucas, per what you said before, after the Achilles injury, he still played at a high level for another season or two.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the All-NBA first team in 86. And I'm going to throw it to you guys. How many other All-NBAs did he make after that one first team?
All-NBA, I want to say 3.
2.
Are we talking about just first team?
After the first team. So how many other All-NBA teams did he make? Not first team, just all in general.
Oh, you guys are shortchanging him. You're talking about since 83?
In 86 was his first.
Okay, 86.
So he didn't make one until 86.
I'm gonna say at least 4.
6.
Wow.
He actually made 7 All-NBA teams. And again, thinking of that era, Uriah?
So we're all wrong?
Yeah, your guys are all wrong. There you go. 4 All-NBA second team and 2-time All-NBA third team. And again, he did make 2 All-NBA teams after that Achilles injury, 93 and 94. So I guess that's probably when he started slowing down. And we did mention the weight gain. I think that was the biggest thing.
I didn't know that he had weight gain, but okay.
He did, yeah, towards later in his career. All-NBA rookie first team in 83. What year did he win the scoring champ? I don't think Lucas said that.
I know I said his 4th season. So.
Yeah, I mentioned that already.
That was the year Jordan was hurt, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jordan, 86, Jordan's second year. So his 4th year was his best year. Scoring champ, All-NBA first team, All-Star. Okay, so these are things we have not really talked about enough, in my opinion, because these were the duels against Jordan. How many slam dunk contests did he win? Now, keep in mind, MJ, other players did play, Spud Webb. How many do you think he won?
I should know this. I'm like a dunk contest expert, 2.
Okay.
I'm going to say 2 as well.
I say 2.
You guys are all right. Ring that, whatever that sound effect is.
And if you ask Dominique, he would have said Jordan robbed him in that 88 one. But go ahead.
Yeah, it was in Chicago, and he felt like it was a little home crowd cooking.
Yeah.
Was that the foul line one, 88?
Yeah.
Didn't that happen
I think it
with
was.
Levine and Aaron Gordon too?
If you look at these highlights of these dunk, I have to be honest, like this rivals like that Levine, Gordon, and that Vince Carter, T-Mac. These are some like good dunks.
The difference between Jordan and Dominique was Jordan was finesse, and Dominique was more power.
Yeah. Wasn't Dominique 2-footed?
Yes, he was.
Was he a 2-footed dunker? Yeah, it's all power. 85 and 90 were those. I didn't mention this to Katie. Both are NBA 75th anniversary team.
Yes.
His number 21 is retired by the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
He did play in the EuroLeague. We mentioned that. And he kind of swept up awards there. EuroLeague final MVP, 96. Champ, All-Star.
Shanghai Sharks?
No, this is before Shanghai. Apparently, it was the Greek All-Star. The Greek Cup was the OG Shanghai.
Okay.
And he came back in the league after these awards. So, and they actually inducted him in the Greek League Hall of Fame in 2022.
Didn't know it existed.
Wow, for one season.
And what's interesting about Dominique, I mentioned the Vince Carter thing. It's interesting that he came back. He did end up having a quite long career in the league. He played, I believe, 15, 16 seasons. So given his injury, he still played into 1999 with Orlando Magic. What stands out, guys? I'll start with you, Uriah. What stands out with these accolades?
Yeah, the scoring champ that one season stands out to me because there are so many great scorers in the NBA at the time. I want to say Bernard King was still around. Or maybe that was earlier.
In his prime at that point,
right. He was probably in
was it Mark Aguirre elite?
Mark Aguirre was a great scorer, but Karl Malone was putting up numbers back then. Larry Bird. There was a lot of great scorers. He never got an MVP the way KD did, and for obvious reasons, you had Magic, Michael, and Bird.
Charles
Barkley was doing his thing. But yeah, I think Dominique being the slam dunk champion, that was fun, watching him go back and forth. And I always love seeing footage of Spud Webb, which was a teammate. Maurice is going to get into that later.
Yeah.
To see Dominique thrilled watching his teammate take the dunk contest, I thought that was fun. But Dominique was like, the number of All-Stars that he had is phenomenal and quite impressive.
I think one highlight that I always loved, and it was always underappreciated, was the highlight when he dunked on Larry Bird. You remember that, Uriah?
Do I? Of course I do. Yeah, it's always fun to watch Larry Bird get dunked on. Yeah.
Dominique was just such an entertaining player. I did remember the battles he had with the Celtics. And somebody mentioned that earlier. I forget who, but that was his biggest rival.
Mm-hmm.
It really was not the Bulls or anyone else, but the Celtics and Larry Bird and Dominique Wilkins had some really good battles.
I kind of almost think that he should have had more scoring titles. I get that there were a lot of people scoring, but he's the best player on his team.
Right.
And they relied on him because, as far as I know, teammates-wise, he never had like a true number 2 next to him. So
exactly.
No, I mean we'll get into that, but I think his best teammate was Doc Rivers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him in the highlights.
Yeah. We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Yeah, but Lucas, we were in the era of Michael Jordan. I mean,
I get it. I
was scoring 35
and Magic and Magic, Isaiah, and Larry Bird, as Uriah said. Like, so he was kind of over the fact that he was still getting this. Yeah, he kind of was overshadowed by, I would say, those 4.
Fourth quarter, teammates.
Just want to stop by asking you about KD tonight, 19 for 24, 45 points, what you think when you see him have one of those games.
Super efficient, fun to be a part of. Bailed us out a lot of times on possessions. And when he's got it going like that, we don't want to force him the ball, but we definitely want to let him work. And he shot over double teams. He was shooting over 7-3 tonight. Guys coming over and trying to make it as difficult as possible. And we tried to give him support. I feel like we still can do more as teammates, but he carried us tonight. Proud of him. All
right, now let's talk about Kevin Durant, his teammates. Drafted in the 2007 NBA draft. He was actually drafted by the Seattle Supersonics. Played 1 season with them. Just real quick, just to throw some names out there from the Supersonics. He played with teammates like Wally Zerbiak. Remember him? And here's a tie-in. That rookie year with the Seattle Supersonics, he played with Dominique Wilkins.
Wow.
There we go.
There you go.
I don't feel like that's the last time they played together either.
That's why we made this. That's why we did this episode.
Yeah,
totally.
That's the real
reason. Go. Now, Jeff Green was on that team as well. Nick Collison, Adrian Griffin, who became a coach. But let's move on to OKC Thunder, most prolific team that he was on. The most wins he's had was with Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty much obvious. 330 wins, if I have that correct. He also played with Serge Ibaka, Kendrick Perkins, Steven Adams, Reggie Jackson, Deion Waiters. The list goes on and on. But stop right here with James Harden. We remember James Harden and Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant having those old big 3 there. A young, nice, really nice core. But GM Sam Presti valued size, rebounding, and defense over James Harden. So he gave an extension to Kendrick Perkins and re-signed, and another extension to Serge Ibaka. So they moved on from James Harden. What if that core 3 stayed together for at least another 4 years? I'm going to start with Lucas. Do they win an NBA championship?
They win, but they would have never done it. James was ready to move on anyway.
You think so?
From what I heard from Perkins in a recent interview, Perkins was in that locker room. He said James was ready to move on. I'm
pretty sure I heard a clip where James Harden specifically said he would have stayed if they would have gave him the money.
Yeah, but they weren't going to give him the money, especially to a backup. They weren't going to give it to him. I do know who they traded James Harden for.
Go ahead, tell us.
Kevin Martin, Jeremy Lamb, the pick that became Steven Adams, and
a pick that became Oladipo.
Was it really? No, they traded for Oladipo. They traded for Oladipo.
They did trade.
Oladipo was on the Magic early in his career.
Yeah. They traded Serge Ibaka for Oladipo.
Okay. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But I'm going to answer the question. Yeah, they 1,000%. James, they become what the Warriors were. They stuck with their core three, and they made the NBA Finals with it. James Harden won Sixth Man of the Year. He ended up being one of the best scorers of all time shortly after. You figure that out. And people forget early Russell Westbrook just was unstoppable. And so, and they actually had a big four in Serge Ibaka. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big NBA what if. I would say arguably that's the biggest NBA what if because they made the finals at such a young age. I think they were the youngest. Were they the youngest team to ever make the finals? I think they were.
Their core,
yeah. And so I don't know what the hell they did wrong. I'm kind of with Lucas. Maybe Daryl Morey with Houston obviously was offering a lot of money, but I would have countered or traded or something. It's too bad because all the guys liked each other, right? Like the core three, did they?
At that time, yeah.
Yeah, at that time.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'll step in and say that I believe that it's a no-brainer. They would have won at least one championship. And at that point, you have to pay the money. You have to. And
small market that just moved there, Uri, they didn't have the financial backing at the time.
They could have found a way. Anything's possible. They might have been thin in depth at that point.
Yeah, look at Lucas. Look at what Golden State just did. You make
Golden
it work.
State is thanks to Steph Curry and they also have one of the richest owners too.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah. I think Presti's rich though.
Yeah,
Presti's not the owner. I don't know who the owner is.
He's a GM.
Yeah, but I don't know who the owner is. But I mean, they are building a new arena now. They're planning on building a new arena there in OKC. But
all right, so who are the other teammates?
That's pretty much it for the Oklahoma City Thunder teammates. We can move on to Golden State, which there was a lot of controversy behind this, and he garnered the name Snake for leaving Oklahoma City Thunder for the Golden State Warriors. But he joined the team that beat them in the Western Conference Finals, and a lot of people thought it was shady. I'll just keep it at that. But on the Golden State Warriors, more high-level talent. Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala, and Sean Livingston, even DeMarcus Cousins towards the end, 2018-2019. Now, they went on to win 2 championships. Those are the first 2 championships of Kevin Durant. Well, only 2 championships of his career. What do you guys think about that Golden State Warriors team? Mind you, they won 73 games the year before they acquired Kevin Durant. Now they bring in a future Hall of Famer, Kevin Durant. So Uriah, go ahead. You're raising your hand. Go ahead.
So for my birthday, my neighbor got us tickets to the Sixers-Warriors game. I forget, it was 2019 or it was probably 2019 or maybe it's 2018. Anyway, the point is we had box seats at half court, best seats I ever had in my life. And I watched the Sixers go up by 27 going into halftime, and I said to my neighbor, I said, they're going to come back. I was like, this game is not over. And slowly but surely, they chipped away at that lead, and the Warriors ended up winning. I just remember seeing Kevin Durant in person in that Warriors uniform playing with Steph Curry and all the guys you mentioned. I'm like, how is this even possible? How is this fair? But that team was a great team, obviously, and Kevin Durant was just the man. Even next to Curry, Kevin Durant was the man.
It's interesting he only stayed there a couple of years because he probably was like, this is too I'm good. This is almost too unfair because they lost to Kawhi, but there were all those injuries in the finals and, that Toronto team was just kind of clicking at the right time. But by the time KD came and played those LeBron teams, it was just not really fair. It was fun to watch. I'm glad he got the chips. I'm glad he got the finals MVPs. But, I mean, single coverage, it's not really that fun to watch when you got like the two best shooters of all time around you, the spacing, defensive player of the year. So it was a little like an all-star game.
Yeah.
So I felt like you almost rooted against them, which you don't want to because they're such likable guys.
Yeah.
I want to talk about how it ended here. I always believed that it was only a pit stop, kind of like how LeBron went to Miami to learn how to win. I think KD wanted to do the same thing. But the reason why, because KD was on Draymond's podcast, the reason why they decided that it was the end then was not the blow up between him and Draymond. That wasn't why it ended. KD decided to end it after that was because how the front office took care of it. I'll also say, in my belief, I think there was always the thing is, while Kevin Durant was clearly the best player on that team, it was never his team.
Right. I remember him saying that. He never felt like he was part of what they had going. And that's how you alienate a player and make them not want to come back. So
yeah, it's interesting. And then that probably motivated, obviously, Maurice, you're going to get into this, but they probably motivated him to be like, well, I want what he has and what he was trying to do in Brooklyn.
Yeah, and we can go right into that. Signed a free agency, went into free agency, signed with the Brooklyn Nets. He came there with Kyrie, and then they acquired James Harden. It didn't work, but I think Ben mentioned it. He was a toenail away from beating the eventual champion Milwaukee Bucks. Boy, how would that all have changed that franchise and everything that happened later on in the next 2 years with that franchise if he would have just made that 3 instead of a 2. It's a big what if, but
huge.
They would have won a championship that year if they would have got past the Bucks. Yeah, I think they would have beaten the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, yeah, because Trae Young was hurt the next round, Lucas.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it was kind of that conference finals.
But how healthy was James Harden and Kyrie, though?
They were not healthy enough to play.
Yeah, but would they have been ready for the conference finals? I mean, like KD carrying that team against the Hawks, I'm not
They would have beaten the Hawks.
Play.
I mean, could they have beaten the Phoenix Suns with those two not being healthy?
I think they would have. I mean, in a couple weeks, would they have been healthy, though, is the point.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We'll just end it with Kevin Durant now on the Phoenix Suns, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. And I'll just wrap up by saying this, and this is no knock on Kevin Durant at all. But looking at the talent and the teammates he's played with, Kevin Durant has had more help than any other superstar that I can remember. Now, I'm just going through the list of teammates. He has about 10 teammates that are Hall of Famers. Now, Andre Iguodala and Draymond Green are debatable, but at least 10 teammates who were Hall of Famers. That's a lot of help.
Yeah, I would say, and it's not, I would say the thing about KD is like OKC hit on every draft pick, every single one.
Agree,
so that's kind of the and he stayed with that franchise for 10 years? And then he kind of hopped. Yeah, I think he was there 10 years. And then he hopped to like super teams like LeBron did. Yeah, this new team, this Suns team, I kind of like what they did in the offseason. I think they kind of won that Ayton trade. So this is going to be another super team kind of.
It is the reason Dominique is sitting there is because I knew I couldn't shoot. So I just passed him the damn ball. I was the smartest player in the gym.
Hey, you know something funny? Because we were talking about it when we was in Philly, and Doc was saying, had a couple of them said, he should have gave me the ball more. And I can say this now, since we're talking here. I thought you gave it to me too much, man. That was the unselfishness of how you played. But I sure appreciate you giving it to me as much as you did.
I know you do.
Yeah. Doc, we've never heard anybody say he was getting the ball too much.
Never. Never happened.
All right, now we can talk about Dominique Wilkins and his teammates. Drafted in 1982, and we just heard one of his teammates. But let me start off by asking this question. This is a quick question. Who has Dominique Wilkins played with and had the most wins with? Real quick.
Doc Rivers?
Ben?
I'm going to go. Is it Spud Webb?
Right?
It's Spud Webb?
Really?
No, it's not. No, it's not Spud Webb. I want to
know
you to
who
go,
it
right?
is.
Who?
I'm not cheating, but I think I'm correct. I'm going to say Kevin Willis.
You are correct, sir.
I didn't know where Kevin Willis played.
I didn't know that.
That's that's good, Uriah. That's impressive.
I told you, I watched the Hawks. I watched Dominique in his heyday, and he was always by his side, Kevin Willis.
Yeah, I was going to go the other direction, but I think he played for the Spurs and go Steve Smith, but I think they overlapped.
283 wins Kevin Willis and Dominique Wilkins has together. Kevin Willis was a nice role player back in the day. Other Hawks players that Dominique Wilkins played with. Moses Malone played 2 seasons.
Oh, wow.
Moses Malone, one of the most underappreciated great players in NBA history. I really like Moses Malone. Tree Rollins, Stacey Augmon, the Plastic Man. Mookie Blaylock, Reggie Theus, of course, Spud Webb. He actually played 1 season, and we don't even remember this. He played 1 season with Kenny the Jet Smith. 89-90.
Wow.
89-90.
That's right. I do remember that.
And he also played 1 season with another underappreciated player, Sidney Moncrief, 90-91.
Wow.
Oh, okay. That's a nice little nugget.
Yeah. So what are you guys just overall thoughts on those Atlanta Hawks teams from the 80s?
They're not the Golden State Warriors.
He didn't have
it's like the opposite end of the. Yeah. It's like the exact. I know why we spent so much time on KD. It was like it kind of reminds me of Dame. I know the Dame trade just happened for everyone out there, and a stat that came up that was nuts is Damian Lillard only played with 1 All-Star.
Wow.
His entire career. It was
crazy.
LaMarcus Aldridge, 1. And I believe Dominique might have the same thing with Doc Rivers. We might be 1. And I think you got to get people help, you know? And I think it's surprising a little bit. Atlanta's weird because Atlanta it's not a small city. It's fun. It's got like a Hollywood. I'm always surprised Atlanta isn't a bigger market.
Yeah.
Because it's a really great city.
I guess they don't like those lemon pepper wings down there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look at you.
I feel like it's a front. I feel like it's a front office thing because it's a great city. So I'm surprised.
Danny Ferry, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just finish my point about the Hawks and the players. Like I always remember watching that team, and they would go against Boston or even Detroit, who had a better roster at the end of the day. And those stars, whether you're talking about Magic, Jordan, or even Larry Bird, they always had a legit second scorer and sometimes third and fourth scorer. You're talking about Kevin McHale, Danny Ainge, Robert Parrish. Like Bird is like just no look passes because he didn't have to score all the time. Dominique didn't have that. Dominique was the scorer. If he wasn't scoring, they struggled. And Spud Webb was a nice phenomenon, 5'7", great dunker, but he wasn't that elite of a point guard. And Doc Rivers was average, maybe above average at best. I think why I like doing these episodes is because we got to give flowers to players that may not have the accolades like KD does, but have the numbers. And then you look at maybe the talent level of surrounding them. It's just not a fair comparison if I'm looking for the right term. But I think Dominique, had he had more help, he would have won a championship because he was that good.
Yeah, and I like this comparison, Uriah. What you're saying, it just shows like similar talent levels at their peak. And, different style play, but similar talent levels and like what help kind of does around you.
It's a shame because we see it too often in NBA history where incompetent front offices waste great players' time. And that's exactly what happened here. Like I said, he didn't get any help. There was no help. I want to know if they even had like an 18-point per game scorer on their roster besides him. I don't know.
I think draft, because KD did play for OKC, front office drafting is so important. Mm-hmm. And like you see with Golden State, right, that core is stuck together. Mm-hmm. And I think OKC had that. They just mismanaged the Harden thing.
All I got to say is Atlanta had this guy, center, no disrespect, but you're talking about comparing rosters, KD's roster of any team he's had. I think at one point, guys, Dominique Wilkins had a starting center, this guy named John Koncak. And I used to be like, why is he in the NBA? And I just feel bad for Durant. I feel bad for Dominique because he never had a dominant setter, or at least a center that you could rely on for scoring or rim protection. But yeah, Atlanta just suffered through bad roster construction.
Tree Rollins wasn't good, Uriah?
Tree Rollins is
you don't,
right.
And you don't see it that often. Like, he had loyalty because he stayed with Atlanta for 13 years.
They traded him though, right?
Yeah, but eventually, but it was his 13th and he was injured. But like, it's interesting. Like, we just have this parallel with Dame, right? And I guess before that it was Iverson. But yeah, players need help. They just do.
I say it every episode. Roster construction.
Yep.
You need good roster construction around your superstar players, as we all know.
Yeah,
so, I just want to end this with just going quickly down the other teammates because he bounced around the league after this. So, I'm just going to go around a little bit and just rattle off some names. He was traded to the Clippers. The Atlanta Hawks didn't want to re-sign him after the season, so they traded him at the trade deadline. So he played with Mark Jackson, Ron Harper. Basically, that was it for the Clippers. This is the era where the Clippers stunk. So they were really bad. So the 94-95 season, he signed with the Celtics. Here's a couple names. Eric Montrose, D. Brown, Dino Raja, Purvis Ellison, and a young David Wesley. And Xavier McDaniel, who's a pretty good player. And just to finish up, Spurs. Like Uriah mentioned it earlier, he was the last person to wear number 21 before Tim Duncan, and then now the number was retired. So in the Spurs, he played with future coach Monty Williams, Vernon Maxwell, Sean Elliott, Vinny Del Negro, and Cadillac Williams and Avery Johnson. And lastly, he played with the Orlando Magic in 1998-1999. That was the last season in the NBA. Nick Anderson, Penny Hardaway, Horace Grant, and his brother, Gerald Wilkins. So there you go.
There you go.
Now that we've set up the debate with all the facts on Kevin Durant and Dominique Wilkins, it's time for you to make your case.
We'll see you on your favorite social media platform, ready to check out your takes. Chime in on our Instagram at NBA_NowAndThen_pod, on Twitter at NBA_NowAndThen, and on our Facebook page, NBA Now and Then.
All right, guys, that was fun. We'll see you next time. This has been NBA Now and Then, the greatest comparisons. Peace.
Have a good day.
See you.
Adios.